This is the Scholarlynk news for 11th December 2020. Under an amended special tourist visa program, tourists from anywhere in the world are welcome to visit Thailand, regardless of their country's COVID 19 situation. However, they still need to comply with Thailand's mandatory 14-day quarantine. This was done to help Thailand's tourism industry and marks a U turn in the government's policy. Previously, special tourist visas were only available to people from low risk countries, but this resulted in only a total of 825 people from 29 countries using the program. The Prime Minister has continuously insisted that the country is not experiencing a second wave of infections, nor is it dealing with any super spreaders. However, they are closely monitoring the case of how four healthcare workers were infected with COVID 19. Also, to be on the safe side, Thammasat University and Chulalongkorn University have cancelled their 75th traditional football match. Think about it. Do you feel it is safe for Thailand to open up their borders to all countries when others are instead exploring travel bubbles with just a few countries? Is a 14-day quarantine sufficient as a precautionary measure? Over in Indonesia, medical workers who have priority to receive vaccination still question the safety and efficacy of China's CoronaVac vaccine. This is the case even as Indonesia receives the first batch of 1.2 million doses of CoronaVac from China's biopharmaceutical company Sinovac Biotech. Where other vaccines have reviewed their efficacy claims from ongoing final stage clinical trials, there is an absence of data on CoronaVac. Some on social media have asked government officials to get vaccinated before medical workers. According to the Food and Drug Monitoring Agency, interim results from the CoronaVac Phase 3 clinical trials in Indonesia and Brazil are expected by January 2021. The agency will use this data to determine whether to issue emergency use authorization for the vaccine. Some have asked the government to explain why they did not choose alternatives, such as the vaccines from Pfizer or Moderna, whose test results have shown to be over 90% effective. Think about it. Do you think there were other considerations besides vaccine efficacy when the government chose to use CoronaVac? Cold storage and other logistical concerns could have been a factor for a country like Indonesia, which is large and made up of thousands of islands. China's top pig producer, Muyan Foods Company Limited, is trying to raise more hogs on a single site than any company in the world. Its new site has 21 buildings, with the first starting operations earlier this year in September. Many small, traditional farms were wiped out due to the outbreak of African swine fever, only to be replaced by huge industrialized hog breeding facilities like those of Muyan Foods. Pig prices have risen as African swine fever destroyed herds of hogs. Companies like Muyan have used their increased profits to invest in higher density automated farms. They believe they can keep diseases out at such facilities while increasing their production output. Muyan's new farm will eventually house 84,000 sows and their offspring. It will be the largest in the world and about 10 times the size of breeding facilities in the United States. Muyan's facility can house 5 times as many pigs as a regular farm on the same size of land. Infrared cameras are used to detect when pigs have a fever. This is especially important as more pigs will be packed together than on a regular farm. Think about it. What are some potential problems that come with putting so many more pigs together in the same space? Also, would they be able to get enough workers who are familiar with automation? Britain is the first Western country to start inoculating its residents against COVID 19, with a 90-year-old grandmother being the first person to receive the vaccine. About 50 National Health Service hospitals started giving the vaccine to their most elderly and vulnerable patients. The United Kingdom's campaign of mass vaccination will be watched closely by other countries. One problem that the UK and other countries will face is how to vaccinate their entire populations as quickly as possible, including those who are doubtful about the vaccines. It does not help matters that the government has been criticized for its poor handling of the pandemic, with Britain having the highest death toll in Europe. While many yearn for life to return to normal, they are cautious about the vaccine, and a number are adopting a wait and see approach. They would rather let others take the vaccine first and see what happens. Think about it. How do you think the government can win back the people's trust after 62,000 deaths and 1.75 million infections? Is it a case of too little, too late at this stage? President Donald Trump is deciding whether to hold a rally in Florida on January 20th, the same time that Mr. Joe Biden will be inaugurated as the nation's next president. This has drawn mixed feelings from even Trump supporters. Reports said that there is even a chance Mr. Trump could announce that he will be running for the 2024 presidential election at the rally. It is rare for a US president to be absent from the swearing in ceremony of his successor, but it has happened before. The last time it happened was when Mr. Richard Nixon left the White House after his resignation. A US representative was quoted as saying that a public event by the outgoing president during the inauguration would be rude, disrespectful, and embarrassing. Mr. Trump has so far refused to concede defeat and continues to make baseless claims about massive electoral fraud. Think about it. How do you think Mr. Trump is damaging his legacy as president with his refusal to concede? Do you think it hurts or helps his chances for the 2024 presidential election? This brings us to the end of today's edition of the news. Please remember to subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified of our new videos. As always, this is the Scholarlynk team saying goodbye and have a wonderful rest of the day.